cheer nationals. I was about 5.5 months pregnant. Then I didn't pick up dancing.
Wow, you were cheering while pregnant? Wow.
Oh, in the two-piece and everything. Did the Super Bowl. When I did the Super Bowl, I was about 3 months pregnant.
That's crazy.
So my son was with me a lot of ways, but my son was a little bit over a year when I finally got back into dancing. The crazy news was I charged out for Chargers, and my son was about 7 or 8 months, and.
Hey guys, welcome back to the West Coast Initiative. We are back in action. I know we took a little break ever since the passing of Matt. He's dearly missed, and I know he would have wanted us to continue this project, and this is for him, of course. You know, every episode that we're going to continue is always going to be about him. And today's guest that we're back in action is Raeveon Alise Atkinson, who's a professional dancer for a pro arena football team in Texas, the Frisco Fighters. She's also danced down here in San Diego as well for the San Diego Enforcers. You can hear my little co-host over here, Thiago, is already excited for the episode. So we're going to talk about her backstory, how far back she's gone dancing, you know, from dancing from cheer to SCPA School of Creative Performing Arts, from getting that full ride scholarship to a university. We're also going to talk about the challenges she went through, you know, being a single mom, how she's handling it over there in Texas, you know, and it's really inspiring, honestly. Raeveon, it was a really good conversation, and you guys are going to take a lot out of this. I'm so excited. So without further ado, let the talk begin.
Hey guys, welcome to the West Coast Initiative. Welcome back, everybody. I know we took a little break due to unfortunate events, but you know, we're back at it, and it's been a tough year, you know, going through the ups and downs, definitely for me, also as well as my guest, who has also lost a personal friend of ours as well, Matthew Hutch. You know, but he's definitely still part of the show. He's still looking down on us and, you know, thriving. He's still part of the conversation no matter what, you know, and I'm glad to have our next guest. And, you know, she's an amazing person. I've known her since high school. She's always had a smile on her. Her name is Raeveon Alise Atkinson. She is a professional dancer for the Frisco Fighters in Texas, which is a professional football team and an arena professional football team, sorry. And she's also danced with the San Diego Enforcers. She's also a superwoman to a handsome little young man. And how are you doing today, Raeveon?
I'm good. How are you, Alex?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm just getting off that little rusty part of the intros. I'm getting back in
that
rhythm.
I know it's been a while. It's okay.
But like I said, I'm excited to have you, you know, to the podcast world, you know, Raeveon, from ever since I got to know you, Raeveon, I don't think I've ever seen you in a sad moment. I've always seen you with a smile. I don't think you've ever had like, I'm pretty sure you had of course, your down moments, but I've never seen you show that weakness of you, of course.
Yeah.
Right. And so how you been? How's life? How's the strength wise right now and the dancing competition now that we're getting out of COVID and all?
I mean, life is good. I'm still alive, so life is always good, but everything's great. You know, me and my son did relocate to Texas 2 years ago now, which has been new. It's been different. It's not San Diego, but we definitely are finding our way and starting to love Texas.
Oh, nice. And what part of Texas are you at? Right?
I'm in Dallas.
You're in Dallas. Okay, cool. So that's like one of the bigger cities there.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you already been to like the big stadium, the Dallas Cowboys Stadium now.
Yeah, but like, you know, it doesn't excite me because, you know, I'm a Chargers fan to the end.
There we go.
That's never going to change. I'm like, oh, it's a nice stadium, but it's not the Chargers playing. So,
yeah,
you know, I go and look at it.
There we go. So, you know, a little backstory for the listeners who don't know who Raeveon is. You know, can you tell us a little bit what you do right now, like as a professional dancer for the football team?
So my team currently is called the Frisco Fighters. They are part of the Indoor Football League, which is a professional league. It used to be like the Arena League and the XFL. So I know a lot of people remember those leagues. So when those like depleted, the IFL was created. So Frisco ended up being one of the top teams. We unfortunately lost in our playoff game, but you know, a lot of promising like action, but like I just love the dance, so I couldn't wait to get back on the team once I moved. Even though COVID was trying to put a stop to that, I still found a way to do it.
There we go. I mean, a lot of our friends, a lot of our colleagues from SCPA still found different ways of still keeping upbeat, you know, whether it's just being lonesome on their studio or working some different type of craft. And I'm glad that you still, you know, still continue your passion in dancing. You know, I know many of our, like, for instance, Jasmine Pendleton, shout out to her. She's still thriving in dancing. Yeah, you know, and it's great to see that you guys are still doing it, that you guys are inspiring other people to do it, because believe it or not, pretty sure some of the dancers that you've worked with have been inspired by you, you know, without a doubt. I mean, it's, I don't know, like, to me, dancing, even growing up at SCPA, dancing is like, I feel like it's a very liberating form for someone to express themselves, not just through words, but through just the body language, you know what I mean? So it's really cool that I still get to, like I said, get to see you doing this for so many years, right? So let's backtrack actually to probably what, you know, what was that like at a younger age? Like, when was your first time dancing? You know, when did you really find that little passion in the creek? Was it when you were a kid, elementary, middle school?
Yeah. I think since the moment I came out my mom, like,
oh, wow.
I feel like as long as I can remember, I've danced. And my mom, who was amazing, always just was like, you can do it. She was never like, no, you do too much. She was like, baby, if you want to go be or whatever, you could go do that. So at a very young age, she put me into cheer and dance. But thankfully, you know, back at home, we went to magnet school. So I got to dance at school and didn't have to pay for it because it is costly. Cheering and dancing, most of the two expensive things you can do. So technically my mom only had to pay for one, but she still is a very big force on why I continue to dance, and because she believes in me so much.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And so what was like your first dance class, or was it, what magnet school did you go to first of all?
I went to Valencia Park.
Oh, okay, you went to Valencia Park.
You know, I grew up on the corner of Skyline and Radio, and Valencia Park is right across the street from that the house I grew up in. That's how, you know, me and that are literally right around the corner from each other. Yeah. And my mom just, I don't know, like, she was like, you always had it. She always talks about this story when I was like 4 and I was at my godparents' block party and they were having a dance contest. And she was like, I looked over and you were stretching. She's like, that's how I knew you were serious at 4, stretching for the dance contest for the block party. And, you know, she said, you gave a show, and I never stopped.
That's cool. And, you know, speaking of magnet schools, because you did say magnet, I just had a conversation with my buddy from work not too long ago about magnet schools. He wasn't very familiar about what a magnet school was, coming from, you know, different part of a state. And I mentioned to him, because I went to a magnet school as well, Oak Park, which is focused on music and whatnot. Mentioned to him that magnet schools, for the listeners who don't know, magnet schools are kind of chained together in a way where, like, they lead a certain direction, like in art, for instance, like Oak Park music. What was Valencia Park mainly focused on?
Valencia Park was big on the drama department.
The drama department. So it was kind of weird, like this branch of magnet schools kind of branched to technically to one school called SCPA, you know, School of Creative Performing Arts, which is there. It's like you get so many, I like to call it the misfits, right? Like so many people from different, you know, different type of breeds of like drama, dance, art, you know, just kind of mixed in. And then not even from like 6 to 8, it was like from 6 to 12.
To 12, yeah.
So we were definitely like thrown in there with the wolves sometimes as well. And surprisingly, our graduating year was the first one that we had to audition back into our school during our high school years. Which I totally forgot. And I had that conversation also not too long ago. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, like, it's kind of crazy now looking back that we had to audition back to a public school.
To high school. Yeah. It was like, what were we doing? And then we were all naturally talented, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy when you go to school where there's just passion on campus. And because like people talk about their other high school experiences, I'm like, that wasn't my school. And like SCPA was a place where you could truly come be yourself and it wasn't an issue. It didn't matter. Like when we take group pictures, there's literally a plethora of types of people. Like you can never be like, oh, I bet you so-and-so and so-and-so hung. I'm like, no, you'll be surprised. Like we were such an eclectic group, and we still are. Like,
it's very diverse for sure. Like, and
very diverse.
And I take very pride in it because it was technically a small school compared to others, but like, for some reason, it's such a close-knit group. Like, you know, even talking to you, Raeveon, like it's been, you know, years, to be honest, that we've talked, but we kind of talk like we haven't even
I
something
know, it's been forever.
beat.
It's like talking to family. It's like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally like, oh, my cousin Alex, who I haven't seen in a while. But, you know.
So when you started at SCPA, what was first, like what dance classes did you first take? You know, what techniques did you start getting the foundations in?
I was always in modern. And I remember at that time, you had to start, eventually they started like, you have to have a ballet class once you got to a certain point. And ballet never worked for me. These feet are flat. So ballet and me were not like compadres, but like it was necessary. So always drawn to modern, and maybe just because like of the aesthetic, and I felt it more, I felt like emotion wise, I connected with it more. And then I started with Miss Foster King, and I also ended with Miss Foster King. So my 6th grade year started with Miss Foster King. Senior year, she was also my teacher.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Miss Foster King. You know, she's an OG for sure. I feel like she's probably still there. I don't know. Like, but yeah, she was there for a very long time. So you did also cheer. I know that. Did cheer come into later into high school, or was cheer also at a young age?
So I started cheering at like the age of 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
At Skyline. So I did Pop Warner up until 9th grade, and then I made varsity at Morris. So I was one of those kids, I always did both. So that's what was natural to me. And my mom wasn't like, you got to choose one or the other. She was like, as long as your grades don't slip, I'm gonna let you do it. And you know, so a lot of pressure on me. However, I did it.
So can you tell us the differences between, like, you know, going to a dance class like at SCPA and then going to an actual cheer team, you know, at that age? Can you tell us like those differences of like, or the similarities and how they can kind of collide with each other?
Yeah, so with dance, there is different techniques. So like dance, you have to be turned out, feet be pointed, your arms are carried a different way. Cheer, there is sharp motions. It's a lot of those things. So when you're going from like fluidity, and then after school, I'm doing like sharp motions, I'm stunting. We always say cheer's a contact sport because it is. Like I'm lifting people up in the air and they follow me and I don't have pads, but it requires the same discipline. You have to be teachable and coachable in both, or you're not going to excel. And you have to put in the 100% effort, or you're also not going to grow from it. And I'm one of those people, if it's not 100%, I'm not doing it. So to this day, if I'm at 100% or plus, even in practices, I'm at 100% or plus, because you know, it's just, I feel like that's what makes me better. And I love what I do. And you're going to see that I love like what I do.
Exactly. No, yeah, definitely. And so, you know, through high school, you went through cheerleading at Morris High School Tigers. For the listeners too, but the reason why Raeveon had to go to a different school to cheerlead was because at our high school, we didn't have a team.
Sports.
Yeah, we had no sports. That was the only downside about SCPA. They had no sports. And luckily, the SCPA allowed students, if they had the good grades, to go to, you know, cheer for other I'm assuming neighborhood schools.
Your neighborhood school, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I remember some kids would play for like football for Crawford, some would play for like, you know, for Morris because they're down the street.
Yeah, it was a mix. Yeah.
So that was really cool, you know. And actually, on that experience, how was that experience for you? I mean, you're going to a high school with a bunch of friends, but then you're going to a different high school to cheerlead with a bunch of different other set of groups. Was there like, you know, some differences and like social differences and whatnot on that aspect, or not?
I mean, I feel like I said, SCPA is rare. Like the way we carried ourselves and the way we bonded was rare, but it was like, I got to have like a traditional high school experience through cheer. And then I got to have this unconventional tradition, or unconventional like upbringing with SCPA. So it was like, I was getting the best of both worlds. And I think ultimately just well-rounded me because, you know, also while I was cheering at Morris, I had to be a great representative, not just Morris, but SCPA.
Yeah. And
we were known, those are the SCPA girls. So we carried ourselves at a very high standard.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, they knew, those are the SCPA girls. And, you know, we brought a different energy to the cheer team. So, and we prided ourselves on that.
Oh wow, I didn't know. So you guys were like highly regarded on the team for being SPA
Yeah. Oh
girls?
yeah. They would say, "Oh, the SPA kids." Like they will always say the SPA kids. Our grades were naturally always higher, and also our discipline and just like the way we carried ourselves. You could just, it was a difference. Not maybe because of the much pride we had at SCPA, and they set a standard at SCPA.
Mm-hmm.
So we just carry that at Morris.
So I have a question. This is a little side track story. Because we had this conversation in our group chat a while back, and I don't know if you were in that dancing group, but I don't know if you remember that I think it was called the Candy Show or Air Candy. It was a competition. It was a dance competition that SCPA was not allowed until Mr. Robinson left right before our senior year.
The Air Band.
Yes, Air Band. Yes. Yeah. Were you part of that competition?
I didn't do Air Band. I remember that was like Philip, Micah.
Yeah, I remember they were in there, but I assumed that you were in there because I know you're a big part of the dancing. But I just remember because we were talking about that and how I think it was at Patrick Henry. Patrick Henry was so, not to dog Patrick Henry students from 09, but they were so about themselves that they were gonna win because they were winning, I guess, each year. And they already had like champion shirts or whatnot. And it was the first year, I guess, that SCPA entered the competition. And I guess they blew out everybody out of the water, like even Patrick Henry. And I don't know if you remember Jose Corral.
I do.
Yeah. Because he went to Patrick Henry, like I think sophomore year, junior year.
Yeah.
And he was telling them like, "Oh, SCPA's coming in. Y'all better watch out." And they were like, "Oh, who the hell's SCPA?" And then they like,
I bet you don't know. I bet you won't forget it today, now will you?
Hell no. That was so funny. It was a funny story that we talked about that. And then I forgot how Jose found out. I think I posted something on Facebook, and he messaged me saying like, "That's such a funny story, dude, when I was at Patrick Henry." And then we were talking all this mess that they were gonna win. And then he was just happy that we came in and just fucking put them down.
Just killed it. I was like, we were trained for this. We're professionals. Like, we know concepts, creativity. We know how to put it together. Like, it's going to be amazing from A to B. And like Spirit Week honestly prepared us for that. And I was like, I don't think a lot of people know, like Air Band for us was like Spirit Week. And I'm like, we do this on a regular. So are we surprised? No, but
Yeah. No, it's a funny story. Like, because like I said, SCPA is not a big school. So it's when other people hear it, it's kind of like, who the fuck are they?
Yeah, exactly. Like, where's that school? Like, where is that even at?
Is that a private school? And I'm like, no.
I got that. At a private school, no, you guys, it's tucked in Paradise Hills.
So let's talk about a little bit after SCPA now. So we all graduate. Where did you ended up, taking your story towards? Like, what school did you go to?
I went to Grambling State University, which is an HBCU in North Louisiana. I really wanted to go to HBCU, so like that was like a goal for me, and then to be able to go on a cheer scholarship was really big.
Oh wow!
My coach was actually an Olympian, a gold Olympian in aerobics. That was a thing back in the 80s, and he is a gold Olympian in that. So it's truly an honor to be up under him, and he is also the one who got me my opportunity at the Super Bowl 47. And I loved it. I mean, I loved it so much I came with a baby, but came back with a baby.
That's God's blessing, though. I mean,
honestly,
honestly, now that I have a son, like, and I get what you mean. Oh man, he can be such a little.
But what was life before he was my purpose? I don't know. I think it was empty before you even came along. Like, it was crazy.
So when you were in Louisiana, what were you pursuing? What career were you pursuing? Were you pursuing a dance career, or were you pursuing something else?
So I was pursuing a business degree. So I was a business admin major with a minor in computer information systems. So going to college, I was like, I need something marketable because I knew I was going to stop cheering or dancing. But I was like, I need to make sure I have another income. And I'm very transparent about my life at Grambling. As much as I loved it, I was so unfocused because I felt like I was burnt out by the time I got to college. Like, my mom, amazing she is, I had a lot of pressure put on me. So I used my time at Grambling, not the wisest, but it was my time to be free and explore and see what that was like. And as smart as I am, I was so unfocused to where like, I would say I paid for a degree I don't have, which a lot of people don't know, that I actually didn't graduate, which is hard.
Mhm.
It's hard. It was an ego blow, because I was always great in school. Like I'm getting like above 4.0s, high grades all the time. And then I went to college and I didn't get lazy. It's just that my focus was not on academics as they should have been. And, and it was a hard pill to swallow, coming home without a degree and then also come home with a baby.
And how did you, so from that, like, was it, since you're saying that like ego was kind of hurt, how were you able to like overcome it? How were you able to like, there's another side of this, like how can I make this opportunity actually a grateful opportunity?
It's still hard.
It's still hard.
And it's still hard to this day, because as much joy I have in my life, it's hard to survive when you're realizing what a degree can do. Now, a degree is not everything, but it puts you into rooms and that, it puts you into different rooms than not having degrees. And career-wise, especially because my son's father is very accomplished academically, his career, he does very, very well for himself. So naturally you do that comparison where like, he's probably a little bit better than me because he has all those things, because that's the one thing I want. And, all my friends are degreed. They have masters, my brother's getting a doctorate. And I want to feel successful. And even though I do well, I feel like I won't feel complete until I get that degree,
Hey, it's never too late. It's never too late.
It's never too late. No, it's never too late. But I had to make the hard decision to be a mom first. And it was hard because I just knew I wasn't going to be able to balance both, because emotionally I went through a lot pregnant. And I was just like, there's just no way I can fully balance both being a new mom and trying to stay in school, and then being in San Diego and not going back to Louisiana, not being on my cheer team, it was a lot of things. So, I worked on it every day, but like every day my son was the reason why. There's a smile on my face and there's joy in my heart. And that's literally how I get through it. If I'm down, I look at him and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. Yeah.
You're right. Cause like, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm in the kitchen, and we're busting. I'm a sous chef at Kairoa Brewery.
Yeah.
And we're getting hit with orders. It's getting like, we're working 10-hour shifts, whatnot. And I look at my watch and I see the picture of my son, and I just like, all right, let's keep going. Let's get it's overdrive.
Yeah. It's like they alleviate all the stress. And it's just like, now I get why our parents were so I would say my mom was obsessed with us, but now I get it,
Exactly.
I totally get it.
So now that we're on that topic of motherhood, what challenges did you have at first, right? Because I'm seeing the challenges right now. I'm seeing that I'm now seeing the terrible toddler years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's one, and
the nose and stuff like that. So as a mother, me personally, definitely battled depression. I was diagnosed with severe depression at 7.5 months pregnant, which a lot of people don't know, because I do a lot of things in private. Most of my life, I do in private. And I just remember like crying almost every day. I didn't want to leave my room. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed that I was pregnant. So I just hid myself, and it was so hard just to figure out, what do I like about Raeveon? Because at that point I liked nothing. I remember looking in the mirror, I was like, there's nothing good I can say, because I felt so much shame and so much like, just God, like, this is the life you're choosing, right? Like, and especially because my son's father and I are not in a relationship, and we were at the end of our relationship when our son was coming. So it was definitely long nights, and I would say it took me about 4 years to come out on the other side.
Oh, wow.
Of the rainbow, and dance helped me do that.
No, that's that's a very tough time, because I realized with Patty's my fiance, and she went through postpartum depression, of course, and depression's a very, like now it's becoming a sensitive subject to me a lot now because my dad, before he passed, he had depression. I feel like that sped up the process of his death.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Matt,
Matt,
he
yeah,
also went through that too.
yeah.
And, also seeing with Patty. And then, we just, I don't know if you know, Raeveon, I posted on Facebook not too long ago, but, we just went through a miscarriage as well.
Yeah, I
And
did. My condolences. I'm
yeah,
so sorry to hear that.
so it hasn't been a good year for Patty and me, more so for Patty, because it's
Mm,
definitely it's a different connection for a
mhm.
mom, to with a child who's
Yeah.
they're carrying it for 9 months, and it's definitely something that like it's an eye opener for me of like trying to help out, on the mental health issue, trying to
Mhm,
make that more realization that like we need to get more help on this issue,
mhm,
because
mhm,
we could be diagnosed with like a certain condition or anything like that, but I think it's the mental state that we have that
mhm,
can really you speed up the process
mhm.
of physically. And if luckily for you, like even though it took a while, 4 years, you were still able to see something out of it. You know what I mean? You were still
I
able
mean,
to see another door.
if it wasn't for, I had a great OB back at home, and they wanted to medicate me. That's how bad it was, because they were like, your postpartum is gonna be terrible. And I was like, I don't want to be that mom. I didn't want to be the high mom or something like that. And so she was like, you have to go to therapy. And that is honestly one of the things that saved me, because it's just being able to have an unbiased party and you sitting there and they're not judging you. And when I felt like I couldn't go to my mom, and not saying my mom isn't great, but it was just, I didn't think she was going to understand,
Yeah.
and I'm like, mom, like, and I didn't know how to describe what I was feeling and what I was going through, because, I should be excited. Like I just gave birth, and I wasn't. And but I also knew I wanted it. So I fought for it.
That's good.
I fought like hell. I fought like hell, I fought like hell.
There you
And
go.
it can't take, I always say it doesn't deserve me again. Depression doesn't deserve me again. So therefore, I'm not going to give it anymore.
Wow, that's really good
yeah,
to say like that.
yeah,
Depression, okay. Depression doesn't deserve me like that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a very powerful statement right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. And I think in with my story, and then when we see our loved ones not necessarily lose, but be overcome with it, where it's so heavy on them, I feel like it gives me even more motivation. Like now I really can't stop, because they didn't deserve them either. But unfortunately, this is the life we're in, and it's a scary place to be. And I feel like sometimes we just need people to know, like, there is somebody that will help you. Just know that we're here. Like, I feel like on Facebook, anything I post, my SCBA friends are the first ones on it. They're the first ones to support, first one to like something or congratulate, or we're here for you. And we really do mean that. And I think we really saw that with Matt's death, which I still deal with, and I'm just tearing up thinking about it.
Yeah. No, trust me, it's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard to fathom for me. There's some days where, of course, we're in a soft subject, but Matt was a big part of the show, and
yeah,
he's been a big part of me, as my growth as a man now, and
yeah.
he's definitely someone that I live up to. It's kind of like what you said, like I have to live up for him. This podcast has to continue living up for him, because that's
Yeah.
what he would have wanted, and
Yeah.
and speaking of what you said about the therapy, when my dad passed away, I was a little, I was definitely not in a good state. But what definitely helped me to kind of keep my head in track was staying in like groups, therapy kind of groups, people who are kind of
Mhm.
like in the same similar situation. I know at first it kind of seems scary. You kind of like, you don't want to go because you don't know what to expect, because
Right.
you're in a way you're in denial about your state of mind. Like,
Mhm.
no, I'm fine. I got this. Like, I just got to get over it. And, you're in
Right.
denial that you yourself needs help,
Right.
and that's also a great way for like other listeners who are listening, who is going through a tough time or know someone that goes through a tough time. It's okay to talk to people who are
Mhm.
in the same relations as you,
Mhm.
enter a group, have a therapy session with psychologists or whatnot.
Mhm.
It's kind of what Matt said a while back. You have to express it out. You have to express it out. You can't leave it in. I've practiced a lot of expressing out this last year, and I think that's helped
Mhm.
me being sane for the most part, of
Yeah.
like continue of like accepting what has happened to me in the past,
Right.
and
Right.
not letting that be like defining me as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm glad that you bring that up, about that, because I honestly didn't know that you went through all that. I thought Raeveon was killing it these years.
I mean, I keep a smile on my face because it can always be worse. So I'm gonna be happy about where I'm at because it could be worse, but I'm not there. And that was preached to us in our house. So
Mm.
it could always be worse. So while I'm here, I'm gonna still be happy because if I'm alive, my son's alive, my family's great, I've roof on my head, things like that. I really just find the small things to be grateful for, and that's what kind of just what keeps me going. And you never know like who needed a smile that day, so it
Yeah.
could be me to give you one. I'm glad he able
There
to
we
do
go.
that.
So, when during that time that you got out of college, were you dancing at all, or were you just taking a break the whole time and
So
dedicating your time to your son?
so I did cheer nationals. I was about 5.5 months pregnant. Then I didn't pick up
Wow,
dancing
you were cheering
until
while pregnant? Wow.
oh in the two-piece and everything. Did the Super Bowl. When I did the Super Bowl, I was about 3 months pregnant.
That's crazy.
So my son was with me a lot of ways, but my son was a little bit over a year when I finally got back into dancing. Crazy thing was I charged out for Chargers and my son was about 7 or 8 months. And I remember someone was like, you shouldn't have told them you had a baby. Like they look around, like you're not married. So they look down upon you on that. And I was like, whatever. If they didn't like me because of that, that's what it was. But then
Wow.
as I was walking out to my car, there was a flyer for the Enforcer girls on my car. And I'm like, oh, this is Team Jasmine dances for. So I was like, great, I'm gonna try out for them. Completely forgot, right? Completely forget. It hits a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday, I'll never forget. And I remember looking up and I'm like, oh, I wonder about that team. That audition was that Saturday. And it was Wednesday. And I was like, what am I gonna do? And my friends, I called my best friend and he was like, you can do it. He's like, why not? He's like, you got this. And then sure enough, I made the team and it was like one of the best things to happen. So that was the longest break I've ever taken, was that year in between me giving birth and my son being a little bit over a year.
So can you explain? Like, I'm a little. I remember asking Jasmine. It's been a while since I asked
Mhm.
Jasmine about the Enforcer Girls. Enforcer Girls was for San Diego State, or was it for?
No, so it was for the San Diego Enforcers, which is part of the National Public Safety League, which is a league that is made up of law enforcement, all public safety.
Okay,
So
yeah, now I remember
all
that.
that jazz, So and it was great, and they played for charity, and they take it very seriously.
I mean, I bet. I mean,
seriously. Oh yeah, our rivals were LAPD, so you could just imagine.
Yeah, and where were the games at Qualcomm?
We used to play mostly at Cathedral.
Oh, okay.
And then I remember my last season, it was mostly at Madison. So typically we played where like the patrol officers could get access to, and since they patrolled the area, we could go and play on the fields. But most of my games that I can remember were Cathedral or Madison.
That's crazy to me. Going back on what you said about trying to try out for the Chargers, that they didn't allow you or look down upon that.
Another girl who was trying out said that, but I was just like, but it's ignorance. Like when society has an image of you and seeing me being a single mom and not being married as a bad thing, that's what you get. And I face that a lot. That it's very normal for people to be like, oh, you're not married and you have a child. And I'm like, yes. Really? So like, yes, I do. And what else does this mean? They do pass that judgment very quickly, but I have thick skin. I get it from my mom. Like I come from strong women, so that was nothing.
Yeah. Nah, you just dust it off your shoulders, girl.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
And how was that time with the Enforcers? Like how was the dance team? How was that vibe? Like did the enforcers get your passion back into dancing?
Oh yeah. I also say it not only was my passion, it healed me.
Mm.
And I remember my very last banquet, they had me do a speech because I was getting ready to move to Texas. And I was like, a lot of you guys don't know my story. So I pretty much told my story. And I was like, the enforcers and the enforcer girls healed me. And I gained sisters that I'm still very close with, that we still talk. I was in one of their weddings, one's having a baby, so these are women that are forever bound to me. And they also attach themselves to my son. So to watch a group of people love your son genuinely, not because of you, but just because they love your son, was a big deal. Like, I loved it to this day. It was great, 5 seasons. But when I moved, I was like, okay, it's time to move on. But I wouldn't have ended it when I did. It was the perfect time for me to leave with that.
And you mind me asking, why did you move to Texas? Why was that perfect timing now at that time?
I always knew I couldn't stay in San Diego financially. I always tell people, like, home is great. It's beautiful, but I could not afford it. And, as well as me, my son's father's co-parent, like, he doesn't supplement my income. So I'm a one income household with my son. So, and I was just like, I remember just struggling. I'm working hard. I'm working overnight. I'm not sleeping and I'm barely making it. And I was like, and I'm kind of exhausted of this, and also wanted to find love. And I felt like that wasn't going to happen in California as well. So I was like, I could live in Texas, like I could move. And it has been in the works for years prior to me moving. And I finally did
it. And how is that culture now in Texas? Like, I know San Diego is very different. We're very laid back, very, very laid back.
Very laid back. And I moved here during Trump administration. So my son experienced things that he had never experienced. So he was on the playground at school and he said, "Mommy, this boy told me I can't come to his birthday party because I'm too brown."
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm too brown to go to his birthday party." And my son's friends in California look like all colors of the rainbow. So he's just like, I don't understand. And I was like, well, son, unfortunately, he's being taught things that it's not for the better good of him. But, I said, at the end of the day, we're going to pray for that little boy, but we don't beg nobody to be our friends. I said, you have 100 friends. Let's not be worried about this one person who's treating you like this. And like inauguration day for Joe Biden, I didn't even allow my son to go to school because I was so scared, because there was rallies constantly around his school. A lot of Confederate flags around the school. And, to me, it was a scary place, because I'm like, we don't know what people are doing. People are very irrational right now. Mm-hmm. And if they can go storm the Capitol, why isn't my son's school any different? Yeah. And, as a Black mom with a Black son, those things do, you play, and it has that Black Lives Matter and all those things that's real life for me. Real fears for me. So that's been an adjustment, but like, we're always gonna make the best out of the situation, because there's a lot of beauty out here, but that was a shell shock for my son, at least, for sure.
Speaking on that topic, I know this is probably gonna be one of Matt's questions if he was here, of course.
Let him talk to us.
But he always liked to talk about that situation, the climate that we're in, the social climate that we're in. How do you feel about it? Ever since that whole happening of the Capitol Hill, what you've dealt with your son, like how have you seen the society, and where do you think that we can go about and improving it?
I mean, I just feel like love has to be put back into things. We're so divided, and understanding has to happen. And it's hard for me to talk about my experiences, because people are so quick to defend, oh no, that's not real, instead of understanding like our perception like this, because this is my experience. Like, I've seen my brother be put in handcuffs for no reason. My friends have had guns held up to their heads. I've been pulled over unlawfully. And fear as a Black mom with a Black son is real, because I have to keep him away from like gangs, disease. I don't want him to be in a car accident. I don't want him to drown. And then how do you explain to your kid, I also have to protect you from the police, which are the people who are supposed to protect you. And when I was an enforcer girl, that was also hard, because my moral conscience was like, you're supporting law enforcement, they're not all right. Even though some of the players are like, they're great, but in a general, but it was very hard because, you know, we're being gunned down left and right, you know, and it's that thing is not, it's not fake. It's a real thing. And I worry about my son every day because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
And I can see that. I mean, you know, I haven't fully yet lived that experience of having to worry yet about my son, you know, dealing with that yet, because of course he's Mexican, and he's going to deal with, you know, some type, because I've dealt with it too as well, you know, in some sort of ways. And I never thought about that challenge of having to explain my son, you know, social differences and divide and whatnot, you know, and like, you know, that we're on the topic, you know, what's a suggestion you can give to parents that has helped you out in these type of situations?
I always say I don't lie to my son. I just explain things to where he can comprehend as a kid. And I just feel like we have to be honest about our kids, but we also have to empower our children, because when we're gone, they're going to be the ones to carry on our legacy. And I promote, son, you be proud of who you are. Be proud of the bloodline that's in you between me and his dad. His dad is a great man, and he comes from a strong dad and a strong woman. So I would say empower your kids, educate your kids. And, you know, those are important, because you want to educate them, and you don't want them to live in fear, but do you want them to feel empowered to speak up for themselves? To, if they have a dream, let them go and get it. Don't say just because you're Black or you're Latino or something like that, you know, that you can't, you know? And I'm big on that. I tell my son he can be anything he wants to be.
There we go.
Period.
How old is your son?
He turned 8 in August.
Oh my God, 8 years.
Yes, I know. It's time passing so quickly.
I know. I mean, I've been with Patty for about almost now we're 4 years. Well, I feel like it's been longer than that though, but like, because I've known her for such a long time.
Yeah.
But like you know, her niece and nephew, I've known her nephew since he was like probably 3, and just now he's 9, and it's just like, wow, time flies like so fast.
Time is flying by us. Like, we've been out of high school 11 years.
Yeah, 11 years. I think 11 years now.
12 years now.
No, 12 years.
12 years.
Our high school reunion was 2 years ago. Our high school reunion was 2 years ago. When I remember, the pandemic kind of, I don't even count the pandemic year as like a year, to be honest.
Like, we're still 29. Well, I'm actually still 29. I haven't turned 30 yet. So we're still in our 20s. But you know.
Well, I'm feeling the 30s now. I'm starting to feel it. But
it's the dad in you. That's just the dad.
The dad bod. So now that you're in Texas, you know, at the beginning stages, did you have like already a dance position when you got there, or how did the Frisco Fighters happen, or were you into some other type of dancing?
So I knew I wanted to dance. I was like, I need to dance, and I wanted to dance for the Mavs, which is the basketball team here, and they got rid of their dance team right before I moved here. Oh, no. And of course, there is the iconic DCC, which is the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. I've been wanting to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader since I don't know, breathe. But I have an injury that would, that restrains me from being able to do something that's mandatory, which is their jump split. So I just started searching, and I was like, I want to dance. I need to dance. And I moved here right before the pandemic. So it was like, I'm looking, pandemic hit. So I'm just like, this can't be life. And I was like, so I would dance in my living room, and I was like, something was telling me, just stay in shape, stay limber. And then I started searching teams, and somebody posted on Instagram, oh, come try out for the Frisco Fighters. And I was like, I wonder what that is. And then I tried out and made it. And I love it.
So how long, so you've been with the Frisco Fighters for not too long, right? You've been about a year?
It's only been for 1 season. I made the team December of 2020, and our season just ended.
Oh, okay, cool. And how was that first year? How was that first season? It was amazing.
It was incredible. And I love being able to be on dance teams where I'm not judged. So very much like the San Diego Enforcer girls, my bombshell sisters, just judgment free. I was like, you know, I'm a mom, things like that. And they were like, okay, like, you know, and in the dance community, they're so political and judgy. So when you get on the team where that's not a thing, it's great. We had a great director, great group of girls. I got to take pictures with Hall of Famers and, all these crazy opportunities and perform most importantly. And that's what I love to do. I love to perform. So it was great. It went by really quickly, unfortunately. And, I did dance my first home game in Matt's honor because that was the day he was buried. So I think it will always be special to me because of that.
Yeah, I remember that post too. I think.
Yeah.
Did you put something on your boots or something like
I
that?
on my shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember.
And the year he lives are in my dance shoes. And crazy thing, my first home game, which I feel like it was like I was heavy, and I remember going, Mom, I'm a bad friend because I should be there. I was like, I should, like, Matt's my brother. And I was like, Mom, I'm a terrible friend because I can't. And she's like, well, sweetie, you couldn't make it. And I'm like, that's not good enough for me. And I remember being at my game, I'm just feeling heavy, and I'm like trying to, put a smile on my face. And a little boy walks in, who I now know his name is Timmy. And Timmy has Down syndrome and is not completely verbal. And I just remember him dragging his mom. He was just beelining it to me. And I looked at him, and he had a Chiefs jersey on.
Oh.
And he just hugged me, and I was like, okay, Matt, that was you. I know that was you. And his mom was like, he never does that. Like he's never done this. Like, she's like, there must be something about you. And I was like, no, I think it's something about him. So I think that was just like Matt being like, sis, I'm okay. It's okay. And because I was like, what are the odds I'm in Dallas and this little kid has a Chiefs jersey?
I know, a Chiefs jersey.
He's like the only Chiefs fan I know. And I was just like, oh, and I just hugged him so tight, and I just cried. And I was like, thanks, Matt, because you knew that was heavy on me, Yeah. My boy. Yeah.
And now that you completed the season and whatnot, have you now that you went through the whole, and not the mourning process, because I feel like we're still kind of in the mourning process.
Yeah.
But did you use that energy to help you dancing throughout the season?
I have to. I dance for those who can't anymore. I'm a dance, and I dance as big so where you can see me in heaven. My grandmother is passed on. My favorite uncle is passed on, and we have close friends because I also lost teammates in college that I just know, and I'm like, well, while I'm here, just know this, I'm going to do it even harder now because I know that they can't. And everybody I'm close to knew they supported this part of me. They supported the dancer side of me. So I use it to heal me and to honor them. And I think that's what they would do. And I feel like Matt, especially when I think about all his friends, he would want us to do what we loved.
Yeah.
And I can't think of somebody who is not doing what they love right now for him. So I think he's smirking, a little smirk that he always had. And, because I think about him often, and
his little quirky jokes and whatnot.
Yeah, like, bro, like, come on, sis, come on. That's all I remember.
That mad swagger that he always had.
That he only has. Like,
exactly.
I was like, only him has that energy, and I'll love him for life. I'll miss him forever, but one day I'll be able to say what's up again.
That's definitely true. And he was that. Everything you just said was the reasons why I basically had him, part of this project in the podcast, because he was such a genuine person to talk to anybody. Like, he was just, he had that swagger. He could talk to anybody, carry conversation for hours and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, he's definitely dearly missed. He's still dearly missed.
Very much so.
Yeah. And, I can't wait one day when you come, into town, and, maybe we can go together to a stone.
Please, I would love that. I made sure that Brandon got all the information from me because Brandon did FaceTime me during the viewing, so I did get to I was in my car and I had to pull over, but I did get to say what I needed to say. And I would definitely go, and we can go, and I'll try to keep it together, but I gotta go and talk my mess. I'm like, when we play the Chiefs, the Chargers gonna win. That was like our favorite thing to do. So that football, this is my first football season without him. So I'm like, I kind of miss like the little boundaries, but I would love to go.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
So now that you're done with this season of, of arena football, are you looking to go back again? Are you looking to go try out for the Dallas Cowboys again? Or
Oh yeah, I definitely would like to go back.
okay.
I really liked the team. I liked the women. I liked the whole organization. Was great. Like top to bottom, the organization was great. So I definitely would go back. I'm already ready to get back. So we actually turned our uniforms in this week, and I'm like, just keep mine on hold because I'll be back. For sure.
Do you have to try out each season for the same team?
Every season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just don't get to come back because there might be somebody a little bit more hungry than you are. Like, it's one of those things. It's never guaranteed, but it's I already miss it and I can't wait.
I mean, that's good though, right? I mean, you always want competition to keep you at that level, to keep you disciplined and keep you going for the next level too.
Oh yeah, it pushes you too, and it pushes you as performers. It pushes you, and then when you get on teams, you also learn. You grow as a human when you're on a team. I had some my teammates, my sisters this year were incredible. They're all over the spectrum, teachers, and one's a surgeon assistant. They're all over the place, and I love it. And I miss them already.
What's been your biggest moment in dancing?
Probably the Super Bowl.
Was the Super Bowl?
I would say Super Bowl 47. And a lot of people are like, what Super Bowl was that? And I was like, you remember when Beyonce blacked out New Orleans? I was there. I was 3 months pregnant. And it's just when you idolize somebody so much. And I remember as a kid, I'm like, I'm going to dance with her one day and I'm going to do this. And my mom never laughed at that while others did. Probably laughed and thought she was crazy. But like, it's surreal to be like, I breathed your air. Like I breathed her air. Like it was insane.
Queen Beyonce.
And like her people, her crew, her dancers, her band, top to bottom is just like, there's a reason why she's the queen of what she does, because there's no one else doing what she does. Like,
how did you get that opportunity to dance there?
My college cheer coach. So my college cheer coach has choreographed for some Super Bowls. And when it was coming to New Orleans, I remember he gave me a call. He said, you cannot say anything. Do not scream. He said, I want you to come down for Super Bowl, audition for Super Bowl. And I'm like, okay, coach. And he was like, no, when I tell you who it is, I'm gonna need you to keep together. I was like, coach, who is that? And he was like, okay, well, Queen Bee. And I was like, nope. I was just like, are you kidding? I was like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? And then granted, there was like hundreds of us on that stage, but it didn't matter because I was there. Okay. Yeah. I was there in the group. So
no, it's a one-lifetime experience. Like not many people would experience that.
Yeah. It was like 10 hours of single ladies.
Wow.
Yeah, like rounds and rounds of single ladies. Girls were changing their outfits. And I was like, oh, so you thought okay, let me change up my hair a little bit. Like, it was great, but
you were 3 months pregnant, you said?
I was 3 months pregnant.
My God, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. I mean, I knew I was pregnant, so I was just like, but you don't tell John that. So I just zipped it on up and was like, well, let's go here. Friends always say it was like me and my son was on the Super Bowl, but
I was gonna say, because I say that about me, Thiago, because like when we went to New York a while back, Patty was pregnant, and so Patty was like jokingly was like saying, oh, one day we got to take Thiago to New York, so we can show him where you proposed to me and da da da. And I was like, we already took him. We don't need to take him. He was already
there. By the way, I cried watching your proposal. Like I cried hard. I was so excited for you guys, and still am excited and happy. I think just to watch like I said, we're kind of like family. So to watch you guys like become parents and wives and husbands and like, oh, I love it.
It's crazy. It's very surreal to me now, like that we're at an age where, mainly everybody's kind of like settled down. I think our 20 years was definitely trying to find yourselves, trying to live it up, party and whatnot. But now I think we all kind of settled ground. We're all definitely a lot more mature in aspects of partying, right? We're not like drinking till like 2 a.m. We're like, all right, let's get a sip.
I mean, we can.
But we don't exactly, but it's surreal to me, like seeing, like you said, seeing all these the new generation that's going to come out, you know, like
Yeah,
my son playing with either Isaac's kid or Josh Hall's kid, you know,
exactly.
it's just like that's like surreal to me that like, wow, like this SCPA family is continuing through our
Mhm,
kids now, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like it's a
Yep,
really cool foundation for sure. And
yep.
I can't wait to meet your son one day, you know, and
Yeah, he's amazing. I'm biased, of course, because he's mine, but he literally is the best parts of me and his dad. So if you can take the best part of me and the best part of his dad and put it in one little human, that's our son. Like he has my energy level though, so he's always on 100, always. And I don't have it any other way.
and you like being a boy mom?
I do. It comes with its challenges because, like, I'm a woman, so I have parts that my son does not have. Like potty training, my son was really eventful because I was like, how do I show him how to pee? So I grabbed some hot dogs without the freezer and was like, "That's what you do." But it definitely comes with its challenges because I'm like, I'm raising somebody's husband, like and like
No, I never
I
thought about that.
yeah, like I'm raising somebody's like husband, future boyfriend, future father. So I have to instill some things in him. And also I have to do this with his dad. And me and his dad are like a united front when it comes to our son. And it is, oh my goodness, it's my hardest job, but it's the best job I've ever had in my life. Like
Yeah.
I love being his mom specifically.
I mean, we say because so like before Patty was pregnant, you know, she always wanted to have a girl. You know, she always wanted to have a girl first. So I always wanted a boy. Of course, came out as a boy, but
Yeah.
now she's like changed her mind of like having just set on boys. You know, because she just loves being a boy mom in a way. Because she's just like, oh, he's mama's boy, right? He's always always with her. He's always hugging her. Even when we like kiss, this little dude will come crawling between our legs and starts pushing me off.
He's like, no, Dad, it's my woman. Yeah. He's so loving and he's so attentive to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're just so sweet. Like he is. Oh, I love it. I said the first girl to ever break his heart. I'm gonna have to fight her mama because my baby is so sweet.
And so for a single mom, and for single moms out there, what's like some good advice you want to give out there for single moms who are probably struggling at the moment, probably, can't see another side of this, because I know it gets hard. I mean, I can't believe being a single parent, and having to deal with everything like that, because even as us too, as a team, like it's very demanding. So like, what's some advice that you can give to any like single moms out there who are listening? Or single parents in general.
Yeah. Believe in yourself that you can do it. There's no reason to doubt yourself. So believe in yourself that you can do it. And I'm like, there's going to be hard times, but there's also going to be those good times. And being a single parent, or just being a parent in general, is all about trial and error and like winging it. So when people was like, how did you? I was like, you guys, trial and error. I fail a lot as a parent. And failing and what I feel is messing up as a parent is also how you grow as a parent as well. And don't let society tell you that something's wrong because you're a single parent. That's a big thing, because it plays the mental game like you should be married, and especially me being a woman, like you should be married and you need a man and things like that. And I'm just like, but you don't need to be married to be great parents. And me and my son's father are great examples of that, because we co-parent so well. So just, you do what works for you. Don't let society tell you how to raise your kid. If you feel this is right, then do it. And don't forget about yourself either, because you forget about yourself as a parent.
And those are very good points. You're right. Because, you're taking care of a child so much that you kind of forget of achieving what you wanted to achieve. You know what I mean? And to the point where like, oh man, like I never, like we said earlier, time flies so fast that like by the time you realize, it's kind of like not that you wanted it, it's not too late, but you wish you could have started a lot earlier of what you wanted to do, right? You wish you could have started a lot earlier in those aspects. And also, that's very true on what you said as well, like of everything about being a single parent. Like don't let society determine what you should be, because
don't let it determine your future. They don't have a crystal ball.
it can
Yeah.
happen even with family too. Like I'll give you an example. Like with us, it was a little bit of a challenge, right? Because Patty's family kind of comes from a very Catholic and traditional way of like we need to be married, you know, before we have a kid. But of course, we didn't get married before we had Thiago. So there was those challenges of like, you know, not that they look down upon her, but of course, there's like there's some stigma, like maybe we should have gotten married, you know, maybe, and that kind of aspects, because people are kind of telling you how you should live your life, but you know what? They're not in your shoes, you know, you need to determine what's best for you, you know, what's the best opportunities and outcome for you or your son or daughter, you know, for the future, of course.
Yeah. So, don't let them put that pressure on you. And it comes, and like, you know, and I was 21 when I had my son, so still very much on the younger side, and there was a lot of opinions. And I would say me and my son's father are great because we keep everybody out of our business. We keep everybody out of our business, and we do what we feel is right for our son. And that's sometimes going against your family and finding your family, and you need to be doing this, and you should, especially me being a single woman on the mom side, you need to be doing this and you need to do that. And when I defied those things, they were like, you know, it's not going to have a good outcome for me. And so for me to be on the greater side, I'm like, I did it my way because it was right for my situation and who I am as a woman and who I want to be as a mom. So it's, you know, you could have been married and had a baby and they still gonna talk. You know, people are always have their opinions.
Always have their opinion. No, you're right, because it's always like it's never good enough. You know, but you have to have that mindset for yourself that like, you know, you are good enough, you know, you are able to do this, you know, you are able to achieve greater things and more, right? You know, that's something that I try to instill with Patty. You know, I'm very happy with how she's, you know, been recently. She's definitely been in a better set of mindset, you know. Definitely pushed her with her because she started her photo booth business.
Oh, good. Yeah.
She just did one event over this weekend. You know, she was all happy about it. You know, this is her second event doing it, but this is her first event really charging, because the first one that she did, it was for free, just to like, for a friend of ours to see if it, you know, if it works, everything's grounded working. This was like the first set event that she really did herself, you know, and no help from me, because the first few times, you know, she wasn't very computer savvy, so I had to help her a lot. So I told her, I told her, I was like, this weekend is all on you, because I gotta work, like, you know, I gotta provide.
right. I gotta get this check real quick, so this one's on you.
This is on you, boo boo. But you know, I'm proud of her, because she definitely, you know, like I said, she dealt with a lot this last year. Ever since Thiago was born, she kind of went through a low state of mind because of, you know, postpartum depression, especially what happened recently with her miscarriage, you know. So it's cool to like finally see her gravitating to a different level of like happiness,
like to get her spark back.
Yes, exactly. So you know, and that's what I'm glad that I was able to help them, because I'm not gonna lie, it was very hard to see two people of my, you know, very close, my dad and Matt, you know, who went through the same thing, same depression style, and, you know, and feeling like I wasn't able to do more, you know, and seeing Patty go through it. And it was scary for me on that aspect, because I was like, man, like I just lost two people within like 2 years apart, you know, kind of the same way. I don't want to see Patty this way. I don't want to see
exactly.
So I had to like, in a way, find different ways, different forms to try to see how to get her out of that hole. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a person. It really does take that person to really see themselves to get out of it, you know, to finally see a blue light. It's kind of like, you know, I was just helping her need that push. You got this, baby. You got this.
You're like drowning almost. Yeah. And that's the thing, you just have to stay encouraged. And outside of my family, my close knit of friends, they were in that battle with me. And it's like, it takes a village. It takes a village. So on my down times, my friends were my ups, as well as like my family, my son, outside of my son. And like, it would take like small comments, like, you know what, you're doing a really good job, because I wasn't hearing a lot of that at first, like, you know, or you don't think you're doing a good job as a parent. And, you know, I'm proud of her. And, you know, I think it's been rough years, and, you know, we're in the thick of it, but I know once we come out and victorious in all of this, you know, we'll be able to celebrate more, you know, and I think this just makes the celebrations greater now.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
you and Patty, you know, like, so when you guys officially get married, it will just be an even bigger celebration because you guys have overcome
So much.
so much. Yeah, for sure, you know.
And
You
you've
know,
overcome yourself too, Raeveon. Don't
yeah,
discourage
oh yeah.
yourself. Like you're, not listening to your story, I'm like, wow, you're even more inspiring, than even more to me. Like, like I said, like I see you and on your, posts, Facebook, all that, like, and I just see one side, right? It's like kind of like, we talk about this. We see an illusion. We think that's like how that person is so happy, but once you start like listening to the person's story, like, wow, they went through some challenges, that I didn't think they'd ever, would ever put myself in, you know what I'm saying? Right. Everybody in this world, and this is what this podcast, I feel like I want that me and Matt created, that we want people to learn that like everybody has a challenge, everybody has a struggle, but if you keep continuing and consistently thriving for what you want to work for, you can get there, you can definitely get there.
I have a motto, and when people's like, Raeveon, how do you talk about your life? This is legit what I say. And I say, you guys, I've had lots of speed bumps in my life. The thing about speed bumps is that they slow you down, but they don't stop you. And it's just that simple. Yeah, we all got speed bumps, but guess what? They don't stop. They don't stop the passion, the heart. And I think that's just all of our that's what we all should take. Like, this is our world. So let's take it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, what you guys are doing, once you guys start this, I was like immediately on it. Like, guys, SCPA, we got to support the fam first. And I'm so glad you decided to bring him back, because I know it is hard for you without our brother. But, I think this might actually help you heal too, Yeah. This might be cathartic for you as well.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, like, I think when I first started the podcast, I didn't know how much I was going to also learn from it. It was kind of like, I saw it as a hobby at the beginning, and the more conversations I had, the hours I put into it with these people, from different backgrounds, different achievements, different aspects of life, it definitely helped me view life a little bit differently. Of course, it's just like, not just, I'm in the kitchen all the time, not just about food, it's not just about cooking, it's about also living a different experience, talking to people, having different conversations. And it's cool because it kind of brings me back to like the old days when we all used to be on the phone, when we'd all call each other, have a conversation, and that's something that Matt always said, like, I'm pretty sure he's done it to you. For sure, 100% he's done it to you. He will call you. He would call you instead of text. He would never really text you. He would call you because he wanted that conversation. He
didn't like the blandness of the text.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I know those conversations lasted for hours. So.
Yeah. What up, sis? What are you doing? Like, that was like, hey sis, hey man. Like, but it was never like, oh, those were always
never a dull moment.
Yeah, and I always tell people that when you think of someone's purpose, and God knew that Matt was going to come home early, so he gave us those. Like, those were gifts to us, and now we get to hold those on forever, because I have Snapchats from Matt that I'll never delete, and like I'm smiling right now just because like we always conversations.
And it's funny because like when I first started the podcast, when I asked Matt, I was like, Matt, do you want to join the podcast? And then we talked a little bit. He was asking me like, why did you want me to go on? And I was like, well, honestly, Matt, because you'd be calling me for like an hour-long conversations, 2 hour-long conversations.
Hour and a half.
I need that on my podcast. I need someone to continue, when I'm having a dull moment, I need you to swoop in and continue that,
Right.
You're so talented of just keeping the conversation going, and he was amazing about that for sure.
So easy to talk to too. Like, real easy just to like spill your guts out. Like, and he never judged. Like, he was never like unfazed or like fazed by anything. Like,
and it's cool too, because like even when he joined, he kind of also had that same realization, like, wow, like this is because he never thought about doing a podcast, of course. I got into podcasts because I always listened to podcasts right before the pandemic, like 3 years, like consistently listening to podcasts and stories, different, just learning. And when the pandemic happened, I was like, well, I wanted to start a podcast, but I wanted to do it just on cooking. But then my buddy, he had like a boxing business, and I thought his story was really cool. So, you know, I expanded it out, and I told Matt to come on. And then Matt realized, he was like, I never thought this podcast world was this fun. Like, you know, having so many conversations and, you know, asking questions of like, you know, how to buy a house, you know, or how to keep, you know, the mindset going on, or attitudes, or how to I don't know, it's just so many conversations that we've had on hours, like with, for instance, Willie Wings with Nigel Burt. That was a really fun one. When Nigel, I think was that one. That one I think was like almost 3 hours long. I think that was the first one that Matt was on, and I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if Nigel's gonna hear this, but it's so funny. We had to cut it short because Nigel kept on going. And
he's a stalker.
Yeah, and Matt was right next to me, and it's funny though. It was one of the funniest things because, like I said, Matt likes to talk a lot, but he like started writing on his phone, and he nudged me like, "Hey, are we gonna finish soon?" Because
he's just going.
Because Nigel's just going.
But you know what? That's when you think about them two in a room. That is literally who they are. Yeah. Like if I could pick anybody who's going to talk for hours, it would be Nigel and Matt. Like about everything too.
And shout out to Nigel out there. Shout out to Nigel. He's
that's Nigel Burton. I know.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Father doing big things.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, doing huge things. Oh yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah, and that's another story that I'm like very fascinated and inspired by too. You know, like how he kind of came out of, you know, making a business out of nowhere. You know, from what I remember, it was his sister. You know, he was low on money. He kept on asking money from his sister or something like that. And his sister was like, no, how about I get you some hats? And you can do whatever you want with the hats, but whatever you do with those hats, that's your money, you know, like keep reinvesting it. And that's how it kind of like sparked this idea of like,
that's crazy.
Of that hustle, you know, in Fresno. And he was telling us the challenges, even as, you know, a Black entrepreneur, the challenges that he had to deal with, you know, of selling on a college campus, of even being kicked out at times because they would make an excuse like, you can't be selling here, you need a permit, and then he would get it, and then they would make another excuse for him to leave. So, you know, like I said, like listening to these stories and listening to what other people have been through, it's cool because now I know that like I can be strong in myself in whatever I endeavor, you know, because now I just heard this person talk to me for an hour about what they had to deal with, you know, with you too, Raeveon. Like you, to me, this conversation is inspiring because you're as a single mom, and that's what I kind of was more excited about. I mean, about you being a single mom, because that aspect is not very talked about, you know, that being a single mom or single parent is not really talked about, you know, and I think it needs to be talked about a little bit more, that you can still be a single parent and achieve whatever your dreams you want to, you know, you're still killing it with the dance teams, you know.
100%. Yeah. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't allow society to tell me what my future was going to look like. After I healed myself, I was like, oh, it's game on. I was like, once I found myself again, it was I'm still on the gas. I've yet to touch the brake, and I hope to be pressing the gas until I'm like 85, and then I'll hang up then. But like I don't plan on stopping, whether that's me still dancing, coaching, choreography. I'm not gonna stop, so y'all don't get tired of me. They're like, she's still going. I'm like, yep, 20 years past reunion, still got it. Like,
we need to have like a SCPA dance reunion, honestly. Like all you dancers get together.
Devastated I couldn't come to the reunion. Like that was hard for me because, you know, there's, like I said, there's so much love in the room and great memories, and like I think anytime an SCPA kid sees another SCPA, it's just like, let's tell each other. And I'm like, I missed all that. And it's like, you know, you haven't seen each other in years, but you pick back up from where you left off.
Nope, exactly. And that's like I said earlier in the conversation, I feel like you and me haven't stopped the beat of talking since high school.
I know. I think well before you were even a dad or before Patty, like it's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like, yeah, but it's cool though. You get, like I said, getting to reconnect with you, getting to reconnect with so many other people, you know, and it's fun to see where you've come along, where other people have come along. Like, you know, to me, this is like my little high school reunion with each person.
Right. I know. I'm so happy. happy. Like this is, and I was telling my mom about it, and I was like, Mom, I'm so excited. Like, and she's like, you know, USBA kids are different. And my mom brags on us all the time. And this has really warmed my heart because like, I think, you know, the pandemic was mentally hard for a lot of us. We've lost people and, you know, just life has been hard. So I think to reconnect and, you know, have this fellowship is just, it's big. And I'm grinning from ear to ear because I'm just so happy. And, you know, love is going to be here forever.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So this is forever. If you guys ever come to Dallas, let me know.
Oh, you already know I'm going to Dallas now.
Bring me Mexican food, please, because they believe what they cook here is no.
Well, they got Tex-Mex over there. So
and they swear by it. And I'm like, y'all have no idea. And they're like, no, it's better. No, it's not.
Thank you for keeping us alive out there.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna talk about Southeast taco shops to the day I die. There's nothing.
Southeast taco shops.
Oh yeah, there's nothing that compares about it. Like
so
they can try out here in Dallas. You know, they like their Whataburger over there, In and Out. I'm just, what are your test buds doing? Like, were you guys deprived as children? Because I don't know. But you know, it's fun. But you know, it's always an open door here. And I know when I come home, we're going to try to come home next summer. So fingers crossed, no interruptions. Me and my son and I both will be, we'll be in Los Angeles in May for my brother's graduation, but I'm trying to come home for at least a week because I'm pissed.
Let us know, you know.
Of course, man. Yeah, we got, you know, we go see Matt together and,
yeah, definitely.
You know, go hang out with him. And I'm sure we could talk some mess to him. Because I'm telling you right now, if the Chargers beat the Chiefs this year, that's like, brother, I told you, bro, where they at?
And the Chiefs started strong yesterday, and
they did.
Chargers too.
You know, the Chargers.
I'm still a little butthurt with the Chargers. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still a little hurt about what happened with, you know, recent years.
I'm not gonna fault the team for an owner's poor choice. My boys didn't leave, the owners did that. And I said, I'm gonna continue this toxic relationship with the Chargers to the day I die. So maybe after another year, I hope my heart is strong because, you know, we almost pass out every game in heart attacks because you never know. But it wouldn't be a Charger game if you weren't stressed. Like, that's
true. That's very true.
It's never going to be a thing where we have an easy game.
Even when they were I think we were in high school when they were in their prime, they would still give us like heartaches, you know, because how much
the last kick at the end of the game.
Oh my God. It was like, I think it was against the Patriots. And of course, Brady has to shut us out.
Oh man. And I was like, first of all, Phil Rivers actually had you, sir. Phil Rivers was gassing you up. He was a little scared for a moment. Like, you know, but you know, these Cowboys fans, they swear by their Cowboys. I'm like, we'll see you on Sunday.
I know, that's crazy.
We'll see you on Sunday.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. If you were to become a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, would you have gone for the Dallas Cowboys? Would like you have loyalty?
I've always wanted to be a DCC. It was a goal that I always had. But I was actually hit by a car in the crosswalk some years ago.
Oh wow!
And that really did a number on my hip and my hamstring. So trying to repair and rehab from that has been hard. And and I still dance. Even after that, I was like, nope, I'm not gonna stop. Just because I love it so much that I'm willing to risk like getting in an accident and still dancing. But
I'm sorry, how did that happen though? How did you get hit in the car?
I was leaving my friend's birthday dinner in PB. This is a Monday.
Diego.
Yes, this is a Monday night in PB. So this is not like a Saturday. This is a Monday night. And we had dinner at Tower, is it called Tower 21?
Yeah, Tower 21.
So I'm going to work. I worked for the Postal Service that time and I worked overnight. So I was on my way to my car to go to work. So I'm walking and me and this guy was walking in the crosswalk and the guy behind me goes, whoa, 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 whoa. So he kind of like actually nudges me a little bit back. And this Jeep, she was blowing through the night. She just grazed the whole right side of my body.
Oh my God.
And she had the nerve to like call me a B word. And I was like, what? I was like, you're running the light. So the guy behind me actually like hurried and rushes me to the curb. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm okay. So they ended up calling the ambulance. I'm like in heels and a dress. And they're like, are you okay? We're gonna take your vitals. Because like, do you think you have to go to the hospital? And I was like, no, you know, but like my adrenaline's rushing. I make it all the way to work, and my coworker was like, we need to get you in a chair. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. He's like, no, it's about to hit you, that you're in pain. And I looked down and my whole entire leg was swollen in my jeans, and my hip was completely out of place, which I was unaware of. But yeah, it was a crazy.
Was it a hit and run, or did she stop?
Yeah, she swiped me and then called me a B word and just kept on going.
Wow.
And PB is, maybe she was not sober. And the cops did try to do their job because, cameras thankfully caught like the car going through the light, but the registered owner was a man. So they were like, we were pressing him like, no, there was a young lady in the car. He's like, nope, there's no such thing. No, there was no young lady. So obviously they knew. And I was like, look here, I walked away with my life. I got to go home with my son. That's all I cared about. The little things in life. I was like, I didn't die, so I don't need the money. Like, I was like, I don't need to sue. I walked away with life, so therefore I'm fine, That's why I can't be a DCC, because my jump split, it's almost impossible because of my hip and hamstring injury.
Wow. And not even with physical therapy, it's helped or anything with it?
I would have to rehab consistently for at least a year and a half. And to be able to do it properly, repetitively, because you have to do it over and over. And that's what it is. It's not the actual act of doing it or the motion of doing it. It's me having to do it over and over and over again, several times out of the day. So, and then I moved here, pandemic happened, and, doctor's offices, chiropractors are closed. All these places are closed. And I was just like, I have to rehab on my own. And it would still always be a dream. If Kelly Singlass walked up to me and was like, I want you to be on my team, I would do it in a heartbeat. If she wanted to shave my head, I probably would do it because I love her so much. But yeah, it's always gonna be a dream. But I feel like even if I never did it, I'm so fulfilled.
If you don't mind me asking, why are the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders so popular? Because I know they're very popular. Very, very popular.
So they are like the first NFL team to be like trademarked. They are very much the staple. And I think being attached to the Cowboys franchise alone gives them popularity. But their coach and their director, Kelly Singlass, is the only person to be a DCC and not have to audition. So she is a former DCC and she's now the director, and she's worth like 38-40 million on her own, but like she pretty much trademarked it. So their uniforms, their audition process, all that is particular to them. So, and I think with them being America's favorite football team is what they call the Cowboys, and their dancers, like there's nobody really who does to the extent that they do. Even though these other teams do great things and they're amazing in their own, it's so hard to be a DCC and to make that cut. It's definitely hard.
Would you say that's like the highest standard of
yeah, oh yeah. Because your look, the way you look, the way you dance, and they even do media training. So if you do not know how to rep yourself even on camera, you can be cut. If you don't know the history of the Cowboys, if you don't know football, like it's levels to it. Their etiquette is also a big thing. So if you see a lot of dancers, their personal Instagrams and their dance Instagrams, you're never caught with a drink in your hand. You're never, doing things that would bring disgrace to the brand. So I'm like that normally on my personal Instagram because I have a child. I try to keep it not outside of like certain photos because I've done like bikini shoots. Like I try to keep it very
professional.
Yeah, because I never tag where I'm at because stalkers are real. I never let nobody know where I'm at because you'll be surprised what the DMs look like.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's scary. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Definitely a scary situation because men are weird, but it comes with the territory.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. I never realized that. I didn't know that with that kind of attention, you get also that type of attention too.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure if you ask Jasmine, I'm sure Jasmine gets a lot of it. It's just like part of the business. And you have to keep yourself safe. And thankfully, we have security, so we don't walk that hard.
Does that like as a mindset, does it defer you a little bit when like people kind of like approach you that way? When men approach you
because you never know who's the crazy ones. And you are taught when you're a dancer, you have to be congenial to your fans. And but I'm always on his swivel because I also have a child, so I don't know who's watching me and who's also watching my son. And so it's very scary. People pop up at private events. They have requests. I was taking a picture with a guy and he asked me to zip down more of my uniform. Can they have our personal numbers? Where do we live? Let me come to your. It's a lot. And oh, let me grab up on you. They also feel like that is okay because of whatever perception they have in your head, and you have to have like thick skin to be able to handle it. But thankfully, we have directors and all these type of people to kind of jump in for us, so that doesn't we're not at least physically touched inappropriately.
Do you think is there a way to help that situation?
Well, men are gonna be men.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
like
I know it's a very
great men as
broad.
there. Oh yeah, as many great men there is a whole nother group of men. But it's like you have to be confident in who you are, but you also have to make sure that like we go through training on our dance teams that what you say. So like when we sign our pictures, we don't put hearts, we don't say love, we don't put any of that because of the illusion and people might take it the wrong way. So we are very like guys will like kiss us on the cheek. And we're like, no, we can't do that because there are men who literally they just do the most. I'll say that. Yeah, and it's kind of creepy, but you know.
That's crazy. I've never really thought of that. That's how you would be approached like that. That's wow. I don't even know how to even respond to that. Like, when so many guys are, because I mean, well, you are very attractive, and I'm assuming you get so many DMs of guys who are just acting out of character, and I can't even imagine what type of mindset say you are at that moment. Just kind of being thrown off, or even someone who's trying to like sexually harass you, like you said, trying to touch you or anything like that. Like how it's kind of profound. Like, how can you stay focused, like even during a dance?
And what's crazy is that they don't see it as sexual harassment. They're like, no, we're being guys, you're dressed like that, so that means you dance. And what I mean, you have to have, you're like mentally, you have to be strong in order to do those things. And thankfully, I've been in the industry and I've been dancing cheering for so long. And also my upbringing in my house also plays a big part. And we set the standard, like you are not allowed to touch me like that. It's okay to take pictures, and but you have to have thick skin or it will get to you. And I don't like living in fear as well. And so I make sure that I'm protected, and like me and my sisters, like if one's walking to the garden, a few of us are walking, and then now some of the players will, like if they see us walking, they'll kind of just mosey on with us. We're just like, thank you, we appreciate it, because it's crazy what happens. And can we have them, like we've been asked for like private parties. Entertain private parties. Yeah, like can you come over when my wife's out of town? And no, I can't. Can I have do you have an OnlyFans page? Can I get a private picture? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's just like no way. There's no way. But I mean, we just delete them. We laugh at them, we screenshot them, we send them to it, and then we just delete them. That's because somebody's going to see it. But like,
you guys get the last laugh at the end.
Oh yeah.
So probably my second to last question for you. It's if you could choose 3 words to live by, what 3 words would you live by?
Joy, strength, and passion.
And why those words? Why joy, why passion, why strength?
I think in my life story, strength resonates all through my life. I had a great example with my mom. My mom is one of the strongest people I know, as well as her mother. So I'm gonna do everything with strength, and me being a mom, me being a woman, just so I can carry what is necessary to be successful. You got to be able to carry the workload. Passion. I'm naturally a passionate person, and I don't want to leave this earth and not say I didn't give my absolute all. And I give all in relationships, work, dance, as a mom, just purely as Raeveon. If I could define who Raeveon is, it's going to be like full out at all times. I would say there's full out and then there's Raeveon, because I really embody that. And then joy, because there's been sad times, and I don't want to go back to that. And joy is something I want to maintain because we need it. It's healing. It's something that we as humans we deserve to have, and life is already hard. Life is already hard. So I might as well, even though it's hard, have joy in my heart so I can just get through it. And, do it with a smile on my face.
There you go.
All that stuff,
And I think I see the joy in you, Raeveon. I truly believe that, like, in the strength too. Like, wow, like, just even this hour of conversation, I'm like, wow, you have a lot of strength in you, throughout these years of what you've been through. And very proud of, the woman you are today,
Oh, I'm so proud of you too. I'm proud of so many of us, and just keep at it. I'm glad you're giving people an outlet to tell their stories, because social media, you get all the good stuff on social media. I always tell people I don't look like what I've been through, and but what I've been through is why I'm here.
No, same here. This what I've been through too. It's the reason why I'm here as well. And I'm glad I was able to share your story to everyone.
Thank you.
And it's really cool. Very, like I said, very inspiring to me. You're already inspiring already before the interview, and now it's just like the conversation we had and just catching up with you, and seeing what you kind of been through, and as a single parent, it's just like, wow, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm very proud of who you became.
Thank you.
And I can still see a very great future of yours. Like growing, and your son too. That's going to be so much fun seeing your son grow, and seeing what lessons you have taught him from your life lessons. Because that resonates to our kids. And before we leave off, what's a message you would like to give out to others, to people out there that are listening, whether it be parenthood, whether it be dancing, career-wise, or just life in general?
Let me think. Let's see. What is it? I'm gonna say what I said earlier, because it's so true in my life about these speed bumps in life. They're meant to slow you down. So look for the reason why they are there to slow you down, but don't ever stop. Whatever your dream is, don't stop. Whatever your goal is, don't stop. Don't stop love. Don't stop learning. Don't stop growing. So when I mean you roll over these speed bumps, but don't put any stop signs in your life.
That's good. I like that you said that earlier too, because that was never thought about that way. The speed bumps, you're right, they kind of slow you down, but you still need to keep going, and keep on trucking it. I don't know, it's kind of like a cliche part of this movie that one of the newer Rocky movies, but I don't know if you saw it, but like one of the biggest things, sayings or whatever that he says in the movie is like, life is always going to knock you down, but it's not about how hard life hits. It's about how you get back up, continue forward, and that resonates to me a lot, because as much as hard hits that we've had in our life, life still continues, I see that, I saw it with the passing of my dad's death, life still continued. Life's not going to stop for anybody, even if you're down. You need to find a way. You need to adjust and use your resources. And like we said earlier, like resources can be in family, friends, groups, therapy. Like there's sources out there. You just have to go out and look for it. You just have to go out there and invest in yourself, and invest in the time for it as well, because like you said, time flies, and 4 months later, 2 years later, and you're still kind of beating yourself up for what happened. It's not healthy for sure. And especially during the pandemic time. Well, I think pandemic time, everybody was so enclosed, so separate from each other. It's kind of cool now that we're all kind of like, out more, seeing each other a little bit more, and going back to a little bit to normality. It's definitely a new norm.
It's different, but I like human contact.
Being able to to, interact with people again and going out, one of the challenges is I think that, we had this year from pandemic to now was like also my son, right? Because like, since he was born in like literally in the pandemic crisis, we weren't going out as much. So when he got a little bit older in the months or within the year, so when people started going out more, he started seeing huger crowds. It was like he was having like an anxiety problem because it was just not used to so many crowds, so many people around. So it was that was our challenging factor too on that side. Like, how can we get him to kind of like relax, get used to more people,
and introduce him to life?
Finally get him to realize what this is life. Because this my friend is your uncle. Like, try to get him to be like, like trustworthy and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, if my son gets like, not with the girls, for some reason with all the my friend girls and stuff like that, he's good. But with the guy friends, he's like, I ain't trusting you.
my son, the ladies come around, he's like, hey, how you doing? Like, and I have blood siblings and they're aunt and uncle, but it's such a blessing for people to be aunts and uncles to my son that are not blood. And I always tell people our kids' mental health is just as important as ours. So you and Patty taking those extra steps is so important, because I remember working on my son, make sure that during the pandemic that he was okay mentally, because he's an active kid and he loves being outside, he loves school. And as parents, our kids' mental health is something that we don't talk about either, but we naturally kind of already try to protect already.
True. Very true. Very true. That's I didn't even think about that, because we are trying to protect their mental health, throughout their whole growth, honestly, all throughout. I mean, I can't wait. I mean, not that I can't wait. I don't want to wait. I don't want those high school years to come, he gets heartbroken, or he's catching him ditching or something like that.
I'm getting there, and I'm just like, because what age does a sweet boy turn into these? Oh man. And I'm like, I go to the mall and I'm like, oh, these young kids. And I'm like, Raeveon, you're not even 30. Like, and I was telling my son, you better not. I wish you would act like that at 16 in the mall. Like, I mean, that damn number, like, one day I'll be picking up my son from a party that he snuck up to. And like, how you gonna react to that? And I tell his dad, I'm like, what we gonna say? Because we're gonna have to double team him at this point. Like, but I think that's when his dad is like most excited for. I think we enjoyed everything, but his dad is really excited for those teenage years. Because for his dad, he will be an only child. So he's just like, oh yeah. Like, he just can't wait to hang out with, like, I guess on that type of level. But I'm like, no, like, can we just slow it down? It's the girlfriend thing for me. Like, come on. You want a girlfriend now? Are you sure? Driving? Like,
oh my God, I didn't even think about that. The driving.
Proms. And I was like, I know what our friends used to do, even though I didn't do things. I know what our friends used to do. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm gonna deal with that. But like, we all turned out great.
No, I feel you, and I think I'm gonna pay for what I've done to my parents in the past.
I was the good kid for my mom, but I'm like, my son is half his dad, and I know what his dad used to do. And I'm just like, but he was like, no, Sean's gonna be better than me. Like, and I'm just like, I don't know. I hope so, for my sanity, or for our sanity, being co-parents. But like,
do you have him in dance right now, or do you have him in any type of activity?
My son will not dance, and it's probably my own fault, because since he's so accustomed to seeing me dance, he always like dances for girls. So my son is a boy's boy. He loves his sports. He is currently playing baseball. Of course, a lot of people want him to play football, and as much as he loves football, he didn't love playing the game. So this year will be for baseball, basketball, and then next year he'll also tack on track, because we believe in our kid being busy. I was a busy kid. His dad was a busy kid. He needs to be able to balance it all out, and it's fun watching your kid, be in activities and being that good old team mom.
That's what I can't wait for, him being in the sports activities and stuff like that, being able to like express his energy out for sure. Yeah. And they mold, and like when they evolve, like our kids really do evolve, and we're really their mirrors. So like my son is literally, he's so nurturing, he's so complimentary.
oh, you look beautiful. Oh, you look nice. And then one of my best friends was, well, that's how you talk, Ray. And my son uses the word like inappropriate. He's been talking like that since like 3 or 4. I talk like that. So he goes, oh no, that's inappropriate. I don't want to do that. And like you'll see when your baby gets a little bit older, he probably will adapt the way you and Patty talk, or just even the way you guys eat. It's like crazy what we bring out in our kids. Like it's very interesting, and I enjoy the ride.
Trust me, I'm surprised every day of my son, like the new things he does and whatnot. Like it's like something I learn. He teaches me something every day that he can do. I'm like, oh, you can do that. Sometimes it's scary though. Sometimes it's a little scary.
You wake up like, do you wake up and be like, I'm really a dad?
Oh no. So a little off tangent. I know we're close to the end to the listeners, just a little off ramp, but my mom just moved not too long ago, so we had. And when she moved out of my old room, because we moved to the master bedroom when Patty moved in, and now that my mom moved out, now the room is Diago's room. So it's a little surreal to me because it was my room for so long, since I was like 5 years old, probably. Yeah. That like now I'm kind of passing the reign to him, To
him,
like, yeah. So it's. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm a dad. Like, I can't believe I'm a dad that's actually passing over the room reins to my son.
I do that too. I like, I'm like, I'm really a mom. I'm really somebody's mom. Like, he calls me mom, and like, I think it's especially special. And I'm like, I can't wait till he gets older. And once that party's in the same den you had parties in, like, everybody knows your house was like the house to go hang out at. And some of the best memories are there. And I think to share that with your son.
It's kind of crazy to still think that, because I'm in the room right now where we had most of the parties back in high school. It's kind of crazy to think that I fit so many people in here, and it's like, wow, like
I have pictures and I'm like, how did we all fit? And it was just like I kid you not, but it was like, it was the time of our lives, and like nobody wanted to fight, no one was angry, we was just there to have a good time. And like I said, when you looked at those pictures, it looked like a whole bunch of random people put in one room. But like for us, it was like, this is our family. Like, that was iconic.
Those are some killer times. Patty was also telling me like, you hit fit all those people in here. I'm like, oh, like not just in here, like the backyard too.
Our backyard. All over the place.
It was like everywhere.
And I'm like, he has the best house to have parties at. And I'm like, did you go to SPA? Did you graduate in 2009 and did not go to an Alex Castillo party? No, you didn't really have a like everybody has been through the house. I think me and Brandon were talking about that, because me and Brandon like is still very close. And I'm like, you know that one party at Alex's? And I was like, which one? There was like several. I think the only party you did not host was the day we graduated, and that was at Melody's house.
That was at Melody's house,
That was at her house, and even that was cool. Like,
it was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't necessarily miss them because of the mess. Now realizing back now, like if I had those parties now, I'd be so later. Do not touch my China. Do not touch that.
Here's a coaster. It's like crazy how much it changed. And
put your drink on the coaster. You're gonna ruin the wood.
Is everybody sober? Nope. Call an Uber.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Even just that. Like we were just talking about that too. Like Uber did not exist when we were 21. And it's weird how like now that's even past the time of like, like now we can call an Uber when we're drinking. Where was that at? Where was that at when we needed it,
And what's funny though? It's like, I don't think a lot of people know, I actually waited till I was 21 to drink.
I'm sorry?
I waited till I was 21 to drink. So all these times I was at the parties and stuff, I was completely sober. And I would say I turned 21, started drinking, and I was pregnant a month later. So
oh my God.
That was my luck right there. But I was like, but it still was like the time of my life, even like, but we always took care of each other. I feel like I never not went with somebody and we made sure they got home safe. Like, what I'm saying? We still do that. Like, we still do that, like to this day. And I think it's something we carry on to the end and beyond. And now our kids will be able to do it.
I hope you're more responsible than us, because there are some crazy times for sure.
I can't. well, Mom, did you, son, let's not ask this. That was a different time. It was different. That's like our parents. Oh, that was a different time.
That was different. I know.
And I was like, I'm like, oh, but you know, like I said, I want to be honest with my son so he can learn. And same with his dad. Like his dad has a beautiful life story as well. But I want him to show the human part of him because he's like dad of the year and he shows like the most Excelsior. So I'm like, Mark, you got to show him like your human side so he can learn too because you know, we all have a past.
Yeah.
We all have a past, but you know, we also have futures as well. But those were prom, grad night, all of those things. You know, just cherish time.
For sure. No, definitely cherish. I mean, we still got more time to share, you know, now that we're reconnected, you know, when you come back into San Diego, you know, we'll get the whole gang in together, you know, all of MGW, even though MGW is a little hard to get together. I'm not gonna lie, like Jasmine, Brianna, all that. You gotta have like a 2 month in advance plan.
You have to pre-book with them, like get that a reservation.
Yeah,
pencil me in, and especially with all their lives like blossoming.
I know.
You know what? And even from here, I'm so excited for them. Like
they're amazing. They're definitely amazing. But it's just so funny. Like when we try to plan something, they gotta tell us like, all right. Let us know 2 months in advance so we can put you guys in the planners.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What?
Like for us and my little friend group, like we're like, okay, well, you got to get a sitter. When do you have a sitter? Okay, work schedules. Okay, and now that I live out here, I'm not going to fly there. You guys, it's
that's so funny.
But we make it work. You know,
it's so funny. No, it's so funny when you have like friends that are parents too, like how you connect in so many ways as well.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like, and there's so many activities that you guys can actually do together that you can't do with your single friends. Like, I'm not lying. There's just a couple of times where my single friends are like, oh, let's go here, let's go out here, let's go out there. I'm like, you guys know, like, I have a family now.
I have a kid, and sitters are not easy to come by. I was like, you guys look. I was like, I have to plan the day I'm going to be spontaneous. So I'm like, let me know so I get a sitter, and then I got y'all. Like that's always been my thing. Or my son rolls with me. Like not to like clubs or anything like that, but like a lot of things. My son rolls with me. If he wants to go to brunch, sure, we're gonna bring my son to brunch.
I see him roll with you to the cheerleading squad for sure.
Oh, practice. He's a natural at practice. He's so unfazed. And someone told me was like, you're making it hard for him to date because he's gonna have like this impression of women to look like that. And I'm like, no, he's gonna have high standards. There's nothing wrong with that.
There we go.
There's nothing wrong with that. And like
never go for lower.
His dad takes him everywhere. His dad takes him to all the colleges he's gone to and graduated from. My son is very well traveled. He travels these 2.5 months. And
does his dad live in Texas too?
No, his dad lives in between Los Angeles and Chicago. His career allows him to work remotely and be able to travel. But like he is here a lot. Like he flies here very actively. He was just here. He left yesterday. He was here for our baby's first baseball game. He'll be back in 2 weeks. So that's
really cool that he's still a very big part of his.
We make it work. We literally we are interchangeable, and we are hell-bent on making our co-parentship work and what's doing best for our son. So that's why I always say it takes 2 willing parties because we weren't always perfect, but where we are now is goals. You know, we are so happy to be where we are with our son and as co-parents. You know,
well, that's great to hear, and that's good. You know that he has a good support system right behind him for sure.
Oh yeah. We love our little nugget.
Well, thank you so much, Raeveon. I was so glad to have you on here. Like I'm so happy to share your story out to others, especially people from SPA who are listening. You know, I'm so glad that they get to hear this as well, be able to kind of reconnect with you, you know, through their ears and be like, oh my God, you know, like, and hopefully, you know, everybody can kind of like get back together, you know, in a stronger, more formed unity. I feel like the reunion last time that we had there was definitely a little bit of drama, of course, because of you know.
There's always gonna be that, but I just feel like let's not wait until we are
40. Exactly.
Or when we have to bear somebody to come together. Like I'm like, let's come together just because we need to come together and share the love, you know.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely share the love, you know, especially with our kids now that they're growing up and stuff like that, and get to know who their SCPA family is too, you know, 'cause
Exactly.
they got an SCPA family behind them as well. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even though we live out here in Texas, my son knows my story very well, and I brag on it a lot.
Hey, SCPA is connected worldwide, girl.
Oh yeah, we're all over the place.
We're all over the place. We're in New York.
You
we're in
can see
Texas.
this on TVs, commercials. We have the resumes. Just so you know, check our credentials. I just say check our credentials. Like we big flex over here.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for listening. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode with Raeveon. It was an amazing one. And I'm glad to have you for the first episode back. Now that we're back in action. And hopefully in the future we get to do this interview again and catch up with you, you know, and see how everything is going with you.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly special that you asked me to do this.
Oh, thank you so much. No, it's special for me to have you on here for sure.
Oh.